Prudence. Prudence is an important virtue to exercise in any venture or project. It can prevent the remorse and regret that follow from loss or failure. So many who have initiated projects have either been deeply regretful or blame their fate just because they failed to address their situation with the proper prudence and competence. Such people are doubly in error, first, for inadequate deliberation, and then for criticizing fate. However great the goal aimed at in a project, taking the proper precautions required to attain that goal is also important. Therefore, if a person does not prepare the affair according to its importance, carefully weighing advantages and drawbacks, he is either not serious about the venture or simply foolish. The efforts of such fools can often be more harmful than their inaction. Prudence and safety measures are important resources if one is to attain one's expected goal. It is a most grave error to be careless and negligent of those points which will eventually be the occasion of failure or accusation. The intelligent person is one who has considered beforehand all the possible drawbacks and problems and provided solutions for them or dealt with them appropriately in anticipation. As one of our traditional sayings express it, it is better to catch a burglar before he breaks into your home. One must handle every duty with proper planning in advance and safety measures. Also, one must be careful of the steps which do not result in any material or intellectual benefits, nor bring any increase in value. Every project undertaken without precautions is triviality and nonsense, a sign of half-wittedness and childishness in the person preoccupied with it. A person demonstrates his virtue and worth through successes achieved after facing very tough trials and awkward circumstances. The success of a service under adverse conditions depends primarily on a strict plan and actions in obedience to that plan. Accordingly, a person's worth and virtue are proportional to his successes, and his successes are proportional to the prudence of the decisions he took before he set out on the venture. To carry out one's duties in an orderly, consistent way depends on both the initial measures and plans and one's ability not to be deviated or disrupted by what rivals may do, which again demands forethought and prudence. So many of those who had set out with great noise and fuss were caught and delayed by rivals or enemies before reaching the second step, surrounded by the evils and vexations they had been warned of but did not prepare for adequately. If only that were the only ill consequence. Consider the effect on the masses who followed the affair, the loss of hope, the paralysis and apathy generated by failure. To be prudent does not mean to be fearful and withdraw, nor does action without proper measures and plans have anything to do with being courageous and bold. Being excessively cautious may indeed cause some damage, but of a sort that can be recovered from. By contrast, the indiscreet and heedless actions of those who think imprudence is heroism are very risky and dangerous. Prudence requires taking into consideration and seeking to mitigate the jealousy, rancor, and hostility of all those who may be incited against the project. This appears to lack vigor and militancy. However, its very lack of aggressivity means it will not provoke such an effort to prevent the project. It is therefore less risky and less likely to bring about failure and disappointment. By contrast, every bold, aggressive action necessarily provokes and inflames hostility, and, therefore, there is bound to be much anxiety about its consequences. Like many other bad habits, trying to manipulate the masses with deceitful crowd psychology techniques is a gift to us from the West. We reject such matters which remind of a hen announcing loudly that it has laid an egg. We prefer instead the slow, peaceful road, and follow it with the quiet, reliable perseverance of coral growth, even if it means a longer travail affected by many sorrows. The stature of a person before the Creator is measured by his energy and the greatness of his aims. The clearest sign of the greatness of his aims and the efforts exerted therefore is that he sacrifices his own comfort and desires for the prosperity of others. I do not know if you can imagine any greater sacrifice than to step on one's own dignity for the sake of social well-being, to hold one's temper, even on an occasion when one would shout, to limit one's own desires at a time of personal prosperity. It is foolishness to consider only the daring of victorious armies and disregard the importance of military plans as reasons for their success. Similarly, it is a kind of stupidity to attribute successes in general to heedless daring and not give due weight to the importance of prudent planning and forethought. Efforts to secure a goal, as well as the precautions taken for it, are invitations for the help of the Almighty. These are two parts of the same reality. A faulty step in either the preparation or the enactment may cause the cessation of that help, and then success will not be achieved. Safe, steady progress on the journey is possible for those who are discerning and vigilant continually, and fortunate are they who realize that it is so.